Oh yeah, it's time to talk. Late night boxing talk. Want to talk to me? Want to talk to you? I seen Nesta's video where he blew up on Mirage. I was laughing at that shit for like 10 minutes, dog. I used it in it was either the last video I did or the video before that. Yo, he lost it, man. Mirage Mirage would do that to you, man. Marat, what it do? Round one, what it do? Cervantes, que lo que, manín? Lucia, yo, he lost it, dog. But I can't blame him. I think what people don't realize, I'm a guess, right? I don't know. I'm a guess. But I figure as a content creator, Nesta probably kind of tired of these kinds of arguments because I know that I am. You know that it's a fight, it's there, the money is there, everything is good, like everything is there, and somebody rocks the boat. And you know, like as a content creator, like especially if you've been at it for a while, you done seen that over and over and over and over to where you don't even really got no patience for the shit no more. And the American boxing scene, unlike most other boxing scenes, right? They like arguing more than they like watching fights. So I figured Nestor was probably fucking tired of it, bro. Like, yeah, he's out of patience for all the narrative spinning and all the creative fucking mental gymnastics. It's like, dog, like it's simple. If you want Dimitri, you could get him. It could all be so simple, bro. You know? Shout out to Domo. Ness's neck vein. Yeah, B, that shit was wild funny, dog. I watched that shit like 10 times, B. That shit was wild funny. Decent what it do. Simon que sí. I don't know what that means. Marty Mar, what it do? Virtuoso. You'll get a trainer before Spence finds. Yo, who did I just see? Yeah, Oscar just said that he want to put Virgil in the ring with Spence. What is this, bro? Bakram is out there, bro. Bakram is out there. If Virgil, I don't even understand. Like, how are we hearing about this? But y'all not really pressing Fundora. Y'all not really pressing Bakram. Why are we hearing about Spence, bro? Shout out to Caesar. He cooked him, bro. Like, he cooked him. Yeah, I'm the A side. I'm the A side in all negotiations, bro. Y'all gotta stop acting like y'all on my level when y'all not. I'm the A side. For y'all to get any kind of traffic, y'all gotta mention me. Y'all be reaching to mention me. And they think like, yo, dog, like the shit is crazy how much they reach to have something to argue with me about. I'm the A side, bro. Lion's share of the pot go to me, motherfucker. Fuck is y'all talking about? Shout out to crypto. They don't want no smoke. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. That like they just had a back and forth with Bakram on the internet. Kathy Duva and Virgil Farver. Virgil Farver said that he's injured or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Some reason they not fighting. It's like, well, it's all good then. You know, he just fought two really tough guys. It's all good, bro. Like, yeah, you ain't gotta hurry into that. But Oscar mess it up when you start talking about some Errol Spence. Errol has not fought in damn near 2 years. The man don't have a trainer. He was just in Japan playing with Hello Kitty and all of that. What make you like, huh? Round one. Mon- que lo que maning Jules, you the bogey. Yeah, I guess I am. Leo, what it do? I want to. Oh, you talking about Marv that be standing too close to the boxes? That he be like this with the boxes? He was like this with you. Talking about that weird looking dude, right? That he looked like Blue's Clues, but like with a goatee. He was like this with T.O. Yo, man, the internet is a crazy place. I just don't know how people be on there all day and don't be making no money. I don't understand that. These dudes be online all day, literally every day, don't make no money from that shit. Just be looking for other men to argue with. It's like, man, y'all dudes is crazy. Yo, dog, he was like, if you go to his shit, I don't know if that's still his profile picture because I ain't seen that dude, but he was like this with T.O. He was like this. Like that's his nephew or some shit. These dudes is for real weird out here, B. What can I do? You know? Twitter, oh yeah, the Twitter tough network is yo, I swear on God, I'm telling y'all on God, every 2 years that shit happens. Literally, every 2 years. It'll be 1 year, nothing really. And then every 2 years, some old Pee Wee Herman shake cat. You want I remember this was a long time ago because I wasn't even on YouTube like that. That's why I don't really take a lot of that shit seriously, to be real. A long time ago, same exact shit, same everything, except I'm like, I bet I'm off work. I'm gonna be over here. Meet me over here. I sent him the Addy and all of that. This was when Facebook used to let you go live too. This was when Facebook used to let you go live with somebody and be live. I went live to show, yeah, I'm out here. I'm waiting. I'm out. And I was live and I was out there for an hour. And then they hit me in the DM. I think it was Ray Walker in Texas. Shout out to Ray Walker. Ray was like, "Yo, he not gonna come, bro, because he said he worried. He worried you got the thingy." It's like what? Like what? And ever since then, it's like, yeah, you talk that shit, dog. Talk that shit. Poke your chest out. Feel tough. Talk your shit. Domo said, "Why that random Twitter?" Yeah, I don't. Yo, the weirdest shit is it was a tweet, right? In his tweet, it asked a question. The question was, why is Al Haymon ostracized? And why is Turkey accepted? So I took the tweet and I did a video on that. Like, is that true? Is Al Haymon ostracized and is Turkey accepted? And that's literally what the video was about. No low kid shit. No, fuck you, yo. Fuck your black, yo. Fuck your shit. Power Rangers. None of that silly shit. That's literally what the video was about. But I guess y'all know I got hate watchers. And I guess somebody must have seen that and they went somewhere else and told a different story. That's what I figured. Because it's like the video's pretty PG. The video is basically, is Al Haymon ostracized and is Turkey LL Sheik accepted? And we could use that as a talking point tonight since it came up that Turkey LL Sheik is not accepted when you think about it. You got Paulie Malignaggi right now talking shit about Turkey. You got Gary Jonas talking shit about Turkey. You got Samson Lukowicz dry talking shit about Turkey like, I would never go to Saudi. That's literally what that shit was about. Shout out to motherfucking George. HT 58 fights a year should be the average schedule. 5 is a lot, bro. 5 is a lot. If I had to say what should be the average schedule for an average fighter, I would say 3 to 4. 4 is pushing it, but 3, they should be able to do 3. You do 3 like 2 of them is tune-up fights and 1 of them is a big one. So at least you get a big fight with some regularity and, you get some highlight reel knockouts in between. That, let's say you start the year off with an easy one. Then in the summer, you have a summer blockbuster. Then in the winter, you see what you could do. That, to me, that would be ideal. Because 2 fights is not enough. That's not enough. 2 fights. By the time you see a motherfucker again in the ring, you been done forgot about him. That's my son over there. He acting crazy. He was accepted until recently. Nah, he really wasn't, bro, because if you think about it, it's always been a portion. See, I'll say this, Ray. The Brits accepted him because he was cool with them first. The Brits accepted him. It wasn't really, and they was the first ones to talk about, oh, they sports washing over there, they doing this and that over there. So it was always a level of pushback that, if you think about when Eddie Hearn got to America, right? He got pushed back too. They wasn't trying to accept Eddie Hearn. They wasn't. So to me, what I see is that because boxing is a boys' club, there's always going to be a thing where anybody who tries to enter the space is going to come on under fire. When Haymon tried to enter the space on his own with the PBC, Bob and Oscar gave him a hard time. When Eddie tried to enter the American space, because he was already in the boxing space, but when he tried to enter the American space, they gave him a hard time. They gave the zone a hard time. And now that it's Turkey, yeah, there's some people that's giving him a hard time. Some, yeah, but it's not like everybody's like, yeah, we gonna just do what Turkey say. No, it's people out there that's trying to give him a hard time. It's just they don't have enough money to really give him a hard time. That's what it is.
That's good.
Yeah, I remember when Eddie tried to come in, wasn't Al like blocking arenas and shit?
Yeah, when he tried to come in, he tried to offer fighters one-off situations like Javante before he was on pay-per-view. Charlo, he offered them one-off situations. The only ones that took those situations was Mikey Garcia, right? He took a fight. He took a fight over there, Jesse Vargas fight for an obscene amount of money. Jose Ramirez took the Maurice Hooker fight. He took that shit. But a lot of guys didn't want to play ball. The same kind of things you see now. They're like, yeah, they offered Charlo a lot of money to fight Andre. He didn't take it. They offered Javante a lot of money to fight Tevin Farmer. He didn't take it.
It was the alleged A sides that chose to stay in house, while the B sides they crossed over.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that, because was Charlo really an A side, bro? Was he?
I said alleged. Emphasis on the word alleged.
Alleged. You know what I'm saying? Like Javante, yeah, we could say that he was the A. Yeah, we could say that he was the A side to Tevin Farmer at that time. We could say that. But they offered you eight mil for Tevin Farmer, bro. How do you not take that? 8 mil. You know that Williams paid about to fight that man 2 times, and I don't think he made 8 mil if you put both purses together. I don't think he made
8 mil.
I'm saying
actually, no, he made 8 mil. I'm not gonna go that far.
Nah, I'll be surprised, bro. I will be surprised. In any event, you know that was the subject. That's what the hullabaloo was about. That's the tweet that Remy Martin is mad about. You know what I'm saying? I seen that shit. I'm like, what is this dude talking about? Nobody was talking about him. It was the question that he asked. And I wasn't even mean to him in the video either. I just answered the question. Wasn't even mean to him.
Yeah, you were just,
he didn't read,
trying to
he didn't
destroy his whole viewpoint about.
What was the
about
question again? I
boxing
apologize. I didn't
politics.
get to hear
The
it.
question was in the tweet, why is Turkey accepted and why was Al Haymon ostracized? That was the question.
And you responded with?
I responded with, they do business differently. I mean, that's a part of the reason that Turkey's accepted. If you're going to make a comparison why one is more accepted, if you feel that one is more accepted than the other, well, Turkey brought everybody together. Haymon kept everybody apart. It's not a secret. That's not even an opinion. That's a fact.
No, Turkey came in here. He made the best fights. Al came in here and stole fighters.
I mean, you know, and that's literally what the video is about. What Undefeated just said, what I just said, that's what the video was about.
He didn't read it, bro. He doesn't like you, so he wanted to crash out, bro. That's what it was.
Who crashed?
All that shit is bullshit. Because when I actually asked this guy to fucking debate, if you feel like like your points are wrong, he did all that raw shit for no reason, bro.
Listen, every 2 years, let's shut the fuck up. Every 2 years, a dude that weigh 140 pounds does this, like clockwork. Every year since I started a boxing group on Facebook, on God, on my kids, every 2 years that shit happens. Yes, every 2 years. My daughter's over there. She lifting weights and shit because she's doing her thing. But yeah, every 2 years, like clockwork. And the first time I entertained it, like I said, this was way back when Facebook was letting people go live. It was letting you go live with people. And I'm getting off work, and the dude knew I was at work, which was why he was talking all that extra shit. Cause like, I'm at work, talking that I'm in your city shit. So I got off. I'm like, all right, bet I'm gonna be over here at this time. I'm gonna be live the whole time. The whole time I'm live, literally on Facebook. This was in Ring IQ Box and Talk on Facebook. And an hour passes, and then a dude that goes by the name Ray Walker. Shout out to Ray Walker. He from Texas. He's a boxer. He's like, yo, that dude not coming. He in the DM copping a plea. He's worried you got the ratty or some silly shit. I'm like, bro, you think people about to catch bodies over Facebook shit, bro? Like, you really think you about to get... You know what it was about? It was about Laura. It was something to do with Laura. I'm like, you think people out here gonna throw their whole life away over every Slundy Laura?
Cuban, bro? Come on,
over
man. Come on, man.
I remember what you originally said, bro.
Now wait. Wait. Now wait. Now this the shit. This literally the same everything. It's the same shit. Every 2 years. Literally, if you've been with me long enough, whether you've been on Ring IQ on Facebook or you've been on this channel, who the fuck coughing so loud?
You know,
motherfucker, die by yourself.
Ring, I think that was 2017. I remember because I was in my kitchen.
Yes,
I remember that too. I
remember you were sitting there and you guys were going back and forth within the chat, and the guy was talking just major big stuff. He was running his mouth. He's gonna beat your ass. He's in your city. Pull up, all this shit, and you just calm and collected. And you're like, yeah, I get off at this time, and then you did. Once you walked out, I remember you were walking out and you were like live, getting in the car. And you're like, okay, this is where I'm going. I'm driving. Like, you're here. And you like I think you said on your hood of your car. And like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I remember that.
At this point in time, there were like hundreds of people now paying attention.
Well, I remember it was. You remember that group was big. It was like 49,000 people in that fucking group.
The live, there were like probably thousands of people at that point waiting to see something happen. I remember it was 17 because it's the same year I bought my house. I remember it was the first year about my home because you were huge on Facebook, and that's how I found out about you. I joined the boxing group on there, and then after that, I transitioned and saw that you did videos. So it was 17. I bought this house in 17. I remember it was like a couple months after I bought this house. You guys were going back and forth at it, and that dude was scared shitless. I think he left the group after that after he didn't show up.
Yeah, they tried to start their own little group, and the nature of the shit, it was like the same as this. You just can't. You don't have a retort for nothing I said. I ain't say nothing about you. You just don't have a retort for nothing I said. But because it's the internet, well, we all gangsters on the internet, aren't we? We all dangerous on the internet. All of us.
I know.
Fucking Leo, he's a fucking serial killer. Fucking Michael. Forget about Michael, bro. He's fucking Stalin on the internet.
And the shit is capped too, because I asked him, like, okay. Let's just say like you want to do this, right? Like, how are you gonna do it? Like, how? And he says he's gonna fly you out. He's gonna make sure both of you guys get paid.
Wait, what?
Listen, dude.
Whoa.
No, it's not done. He said he's gonna make sure both of you guys get paid. When this dude still this is the same dude. This is the same dude that owes like multiple people Twitter bets on Twitter. He owes people bets, but he's gonna make sure you both get paid. How does that make any sense?
I already been through this. That's why I'm like, all right, dog, you just the toughest person I ever seen. I wish I never seen nobody this tough, you know. I know you weigh like 140, 147 pounds soaking wet, but whatever, dog. Whatever you say. Because if I actually had to go somewhere for a person, it's not for a sparring session. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
real is real. If I gotta leave a county or go, if I ever did, not that I'm going to, because we're online and this is recorded. But could you imagine that Michael says something on Twitter, so I'm about to go to Montreal.
I mean, really, bro. It's like,
really, bro. Really, bro.
Just block the motherfucker. That's it.
No, I'm into like I don't even know if Toronto is far from Montreal. I'm just using that as an example. Michael
6 hours.
That's 6 too many, bro. That's 6 too many. But yeah, yo.
No, but just the idea, like, I'm so tired of like, oh, you're lying, like you're doing all that shit, but you will never actually pull up. Because you're literally lying.
I mean, the
But
other
people are
thing
allowed
is,
to say all types of shit online, and like we just have to believe you, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, but a lot of it is for traffic though, because what I noticed is every single time it happened, it was always a person who was trying to get like a podcast going or a channel going, and they try to get a buzz off of that. It's like the old 50 Cent shit, except it doesn't be working. Like, yeah, you're not gonna go nowhere, bro.
Motherfuckers doing that shit through Twitter, bro. You can't make no money through Twitter. You can't even build a huge following through Twitter.
Now, no, I mean,
You
some people can't. No, I ain't gonna say they can't. Some people can, just not them. Nothing you got to say, like you talking to the same people, right? That you always talk to, forever. I am too, technically, because y'all motherfuckers stay up in this motherfucker, but y'all are smart. That's the difference. Anyway, yeah, like I swear to God, every 2 years that happens, like clockwork, every 2 years. On God, ever since that,
We
every
got
2
you on a
years.
timer, Jules.
That's the universe fucking with me. Like, you got it too good, motherfucker. We gotta fuck with you a little bit. Yeah.
Twitter beef.
Twitter.
Like,
Yeah,
shit's
man.
pointless,
I
bro.
remember those Facebook days. They were wild, man.
Yo,
There's
who
some
in the
legit
shower?
followers.
Round one,
Come
you in the
on,
shower?
man.
Yeah, what's up?
Your mic is crazy, bro. It's mad loud.
Who is that?
Hold on. Let me turn it down.
That joint is crazy. It sounds like it's
And
raining.
like, bro, I literally
Nah.
set up a whole debate.
Yo, you don't even know the fucking headache I just went through. I was like the first person on your channel, and like I couldn't get my mic to like it was locked into my other settings, and it was just ridiculous. So thank you for letting me know it was mad loud and shit. I'm gonna turn
Yeah, like
that shit down.
there's interference. It's like static noise in the background or interference
It
or
sounds like you're
something.
taking a shower. You're in the middle of
It's
scrubbing
loud.
off.
Nah,
That sounds
that's
like evil villain.
that's my my
Yo, that
holographic.
sounds
Let me
like
turn it
evil
off.
villain. It's crazy.
I bet. I'm gonna mute your joint while you work on that, alright?
That
But
sounds like
shit.
villain off a pack of Newports.
Yeah, the
Shout out,
evil villain.
shout out to nah. That's villain from the Bronx, is what that is. That's villain, but from the Bronx.
From
Shout out to
Minnesota.
George. I want these boys grinding. Nah, you need to change that, bro. You want them boys grinding?
Hey, yo, what?
That's what he said.
Pause.
There's
yo.
more talking in boxing right now than pro wrestling. I would like more top level fighters taking short notice fights. That's what I said in the video I just did. That to me, the ideal schedule for a boxer in this era that we in is a minimum of 3 fights a year. Because this 2 fight a year shit, y'all not Floyd to be doing that. Floyd could do that, yeah, because he's getting a lot of money. And he was pay-per-view. Y'all some regular ass dudes fighting 2 times a year, sometimes once a year. That shit is not gonna work, bro. You're not gonna get famous on that schedule. You're not.
Do you know what it is, Julius? It's the camps. It's
Yeah.
not even the fights. It's the camps.
Yeah.
Because if you have a decent trainer, it's gonna put you to do a full camp, and you have to make weight. They don't want to do that at certain point, but for less money, they don't want to.
Hold on, I gotta help my daughter do these hammer curls because these overhead extensions because she's doing them
Yeah,
so
but
wrong.
Okay.
that's also keeping the fighter accountable, because if you're not a weight bully and it doesn't make you a lot to cut weight to make these fights happen, then that's just you not wanting to go through the ordeal. If you walked around like, in the weight limit, then it would be no problem. We just saw the other night, what was homeboy, he fought within like 2.5 months. So it's not a matter of these fighters coming in and, being able to make the weight. A lot of these fighters are like really big for the weight, and it takes a lot out of them. So if a lot of these guys were honest, we'd get a lot of these fights more times a year. What's the difference between a guy like, let's say, Naoya Inoue? He has all 4 belts. Every time he enters the ring, there's more at stake. He's defended them shits 3 times already. He's fighting 4 times a year. Now, I understand that all humans are not built the same, but I'll go with 3. Rather than like fighters like Terrence Crawford. Before these fights coming up, he fought once a year for the past 5 years.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to be the guy that always makes excuses for Terrence. Feel me? I'm not. But at the same time, there was a couple of things that was fucking that up. When they freezing you out, what you gonna do? He sent the contract. He sent the contract to Danny, sent the contract to Thurman. Plus, he going through it with Top Rank. Then he leave Top Rank. Remember, the only fight he had after he left Top Rank the following year was the David Avanesian fight. Right. You see what I mean? So it's like, yeah, he only fought once a year, but I think if it wasn't political, he probably would have fought more often. Okay. But it was political.
If you look at Crawford, if you look at 140 Crawford and 135 Crawford, he was active, like minimum 3 times a year. It was minimum 3 times. That's when he was the champion. But when he get the welterweight, as soon as he got the welterweight, let's say the Jose Benavidez fight, right? You could go back and look at the numbers. You don't have to believe me. That shit was the most watched fight of the year. Even among MMA fights, that was the most watched fight. 2 point whatever million whatever. It was the most watched fight of the year. It's after that, when you start needing to fight these PBC guys, that everything is fucked up. They ain't want to fight them. It's just the reality of the situation he was. And it's fucked up too, because if he would have got to fight those guys on a regular schedule, we would have been done with this spin shit by now. We would have been done with this spin shit by now. But also America would have like the new face of boxing, that new American star.
And why you and that's another thing. That's the reason we don't really got one. They trying to pretend that it's Javante when, like, yo, dog, all these numbers, you know, because they had a set of numbers they came out with. I think it was like 260. Bro, 260. And bear in mind, I don't even believe it's 260. Like, yeah, I don't believe that. But we could go with that to make the point that, so you really can't crack 300,000 on your own, basically. You really can't. Because the only time that's ever happened was with Ryan. Every other time, 2 and change, 225, 230. 260. You can't crack 3. Meanwhile, Canelo could go out there with Berlanga, 650,000 bucks. For a dude, everybody knew he was gonna. Edgar knew he was gonna beat him. Everybody knew.
Mm-hmm. With Jermall Charlo, he did 700,000
with no undercard.
With no one, I don't even remember. Right. Caleb was. I think Caleb was on the undercard for Berlanga. I can't even remember who the fuck was on the undercard for Charlo. I cannot. But whatever.
Yeah, man. You just explained how, you know, politics can slow down a fighter's career and their progress to becoming a star. You know.
Shout out to Don Juan. Everyone is a gangster online and have Twitter fingers, just like Michael only eats ass online. Ball versus Fulton.
Crazy.
Yo, Jerry owe me a hundo, bro, because I said the bet is that fight ain't gonna happen. And guess what?
It didn't.
Is that shit gonna happen, y'all?
Nope.
That was always that fight is not gonna happen. That was always my bet. Yo, Mirage, I heard you got barked on by Nesta, bro. You all right?
Yeah, he did.
What happened? No, fill us in. Fill us in for the people.
I heard Nesta gave you a piece of his mind. Shit.
What did he say, man? Tell us.
You gotta watch that shit, bro. That shit.
When did he do it?
I think he did it either last week or early this week. He was mad. Ooh, Nesta was mad at him, bro.
Mirage gets cooked. I have to watch or listen.
Bro, but he really for real got cooked. Like, that's not even being figurative. Like, he's real. Like, he's been on there 4 or 5 times, and Nestor treats him like a redheaded stepchild every time he calls the show. Can you blame him?
Even Hit Kid from my BFP tuned in and was laughing at him about that shit.
Because the dude is pretty much on every podcast, right? Every podcast, BDA, IBFP, the Boxing Voice, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, about David Benavidez. Bro, that's not like, yo, I like boxing, but not that much, bro. Not that much. Yeah. Like,
he's got to be paid. He's got to be paid by David Benavidez. There's just no way.
He's just a loyal fan.
Bro, there's loyalty, and then there's loyalty.
There's above and beyond.
That's fatal attraction type shit.
That's Sharon Stone. No underwear.
Yeah. That's one of them.
It's like, yo, what's the matter with this guy?
Remember, Mirage got a new calendar of David Benavidez.
Single brown male.
Shout out to Chico. Chico says someone took 1,000 men in a day, Bonnie Blue, to an NBA game courtside and is saying he dating her. We are cooked as a society, villain. Is that
I'm
Drew?
telling. I'm
Yeah, I
telling you,
think
man.
that's true.
That's his
I
burner.
get a lot of grief for my hatred and pushback on whores. But I'm just saying, all you got to do is look around and see is detrimental to society. Whores need to be shamed.
No, no, no. Whores have always been around since the days of Babylon and Jesus Cristo. There have
And
been
they've been
whores.
good to
Let me
me.
ask you a question
And
about that.
no,
Let
but
me ask you a
wait,
question about that.
but wait. What?
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, no, you're right.
Didn't Jesus say what was the whore's name? Do y'all remember the whore?
No,
Mary
Mary
Magdalene.
Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene.
Magdalena, Jesse Magdaleno. He saved
Toma.
Jesse. He saved him.
But
Okay.
let me ask you a question.
He said-
Toma.
At what point in society and time have we normalized whores though? Like we're
Why
talking. I
not?
mean,
Nah,
What's wrong
and
with
so
them?
no, wait a minute, villain. That's not new, bro. You know what's new? The meek have inherited the earth. What's really going on is right. A lot of guys that is lame, that they got money but they still lame. They doing too much, and you fucking the game up. That's what's really going on. They're like, bro, you really about to fly out a bitch you saw on Instagram, bro? You can't just go around a corner and meet a bitch like a normal person. We flying bitches out from the gram. That's what you. Who's dying?
will somebody call the ambulance, please?
Whoa.
God
I'm
damn.
sorry, I'm puffing.
Now, that's where everything got fucked up. That when people started putting pussy on a pedestal, that's where everything got fucked up. That bro, it's just pussy, bro. Her pussy, that pussy, it's the same shit, bro. It's not special. You going nut and you were going to regret it all like 3 seconds after that. Like, man, I don't want this bitch around.
No, but
They keep-
villain, what would you do with this horse?
Say it again.
What would you do as a society with this horse?
Well, no, I mean, in a broader context, listen, he's absolutely correct. Like whores have always been around, but the thing is, like you drive up, you got to pick your kid up from the line at the school or whatever. Now they got like their OnlyFans, like in the back detail of their car, man. It's like
Yeah.
you got 3 little kids. It used to be when I was growing up, you would always have hoes, but like the hose, you'd want the hose, but you would like get clowned on for messing with
No,
with the
but the other thing is,
bicycle.
all right, there is something that is different in this era that we are currently in that was not the case before. Whores had to do whore shit behind closed doors. The
Thank you.
shenanigans, the hanky panky was not celebrated. If there is a
Yes.
difference in this era and the previous one, is that they're trying to make it acceptable to like, yo, your mom's got your mom's is on OnlyFans, your sister is on OnlyFans,
Yes.
your girlfriend
And
is on
that's
that's crazy.
Your
It's coming.
and
It's
grandma's
that's
com-
due.
on
it,
Hold
it's
on.
as
OnlyFans.
And
common.
that's due to technology, man. Every
That
kid got
is
a
due to
phone.
That's true. That is due to technology. That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
but
Supposedly,
technology is a lot deeper than that, guys. It's like you guys don't even like point out like like the elephant in the room, right? Like I was talking to my
Yes.
daughter today, and then she said to me, "My best friend, she lives in California." And I'm looking at her and I'm saying, technology got you thinking that your best friend lives in California rather than you going outside of your house and meeting the girl that lives next door to you. So that if
Verdad.
a tragedy happens and you walk out outside of your house, you're more scared of your next door neighbor because your California friend is out there that can't help you.
No es verdad.
They,
Y no, y también la otra vaina es porque tú hablas con una persona, no significa que tú la conoces. Because they could be
claro que
right.
sí.
Right?
Claro que sí.
You could talk to a motherfucker
No,
every
no,
day.
eso no significa eso. No.
You know
No,
what I mean?
it doesn't mean that I recognize who you are as a person or what
You
you
know,
would do for
me and Leo is cool. But if the last Corona, if it come down to me and Leo fighting for the last Corona, yeah, we got to do this, bro.
Yeah,
We got
I
to
mean,
do this
hey,
for that last
Leo,
Corona,
I feel
bro.
sorry for
Wanna
you,
get this
but you know what I
guy,
mean?
You're pulling the shanks out. Jules.
You gotta pull the ice pick out, bro. We out here,
Yeah, I
bro.
mean,
You know what I'm saying? We out
let's
here.
get it.
File
Do you
down
need an ice pick?
toothbrush on you, bro.
Do you need
You know
an
what I'm
ice
saying?
pick, Julius?
Russian roulette for the last Corona.
For real, yo. La
Above
cerveza más,
50.
la cerveza más fina, bro. Fuck
Ah,
is you talking about? Fuck is you talking about, bro? Shout out to George. Mirage is the new El Jefe. P.S. Hoes save lives. Yeah, because the thing is, it's not. Look, that shit always been around. Before we move on to the next subject, because we do talk about these hoes a lot, but that shit been around. It's just that technology amplified it. to where you can't you can't even open up Instagram without it turning into like Brazers now. So the shit is crazy. Like,
no, man, that
cheeks
shit
everywhere.
that
Bro,
shit is
Thank
everywhere,
the
Twitter
Lord.
literally allows
Wait.
porn.
I understand that might be a problem, but the solutions we have for that problem are like because of what we're gonna do with this horse in tongues and with OnlyFans. What we are gonna do? Put some burkas? Maybe we
No,
don't
no,
allow.
te lo voy a
Yeah.
decir, Leo. La solución es simple, pero it's not gonna happen. We're one way and other people are another way. De verdad, la solución. No le celebre la vaina. No le celebre la vaina. Don't like it, don't retweet it, no diga nada, porque eso es todo para atención. That's where the money that they're getting is coming from the attention they're getting. So if you really were to get into, okay, well, what is the solution to the smut problem online? Yeah, don't like it, don't share it, don't retweet it, don't comment, don't do nothing. Because it's all for attention. Now, maybe you could do that, right, Leo? Maybe Michael could do that. Maybe Virtuoso could do that. But for every guy that doesn't, it's going to be 10 guys that do. Yo, you look incredible. You look like the moon and the stars, and I love you.
That's
You're right.
Crazy ass shit.
You're right. And I'm guilty of that shit too.
You be
Oh,
seeing
hell
them
no.
nasty
You're
motherfuckers
sipping
on
for
Stop
pussy
it.
that ain't yours.
You're like
Stop.
art. You're like
Yeah, but that shit is nice to look at.
And
Yeah, but these
Damn.
motherfuckers donate online.
Hey, man. you
Nah,
know what?
I'm not. I don't go that far, bro. I
No,
just
but
look.
that
That's
Hey,
it.
man.
that microphone is way too fucking loud, bro. That shit is hurting my ears, bro.
It don't
Chico,
pay to be thirsty,
we
man.
did not normalize the jizz face walk challenge. That Lily Rose and Bonnie Blue did that
That's
for the
kinda
women to do.
crazy.
But Villain, I love cornbread. Yeah, he love that cornbread,
What
bro.
about
He
that?
really do. He love cornbread. Shout out to cornbread. Chico said we will have more kids crashing out in school when they get roasted for. Yeah, for real.
Bullying is a real thing.
The deletion rate, the self, because you can't say that shit online, you get flagged. The self deletion rate in the next 15 years, when them OnlyFans and all them start having kids and all of that, oh, it's gonna be a wrap.
you talking
bro.
about the forever sleep? Is that what you're speaking
the,
about?
the room upstairs, bro. I'm talking about the room upstairs,
The upper room.
the upper room, bro. There's no chairs in that room. Now look, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. I'll be right back.
The upper room.
The upper room.
Yo, fellas, is my man loud now?
No, you
better
sound,
now.
you sound
No,
okay.
it's good now. It's good
Thank
now.
you,
It's
thank
level
you,
now.
Thank you.
Are you a pack a day type of dude or 2 pack a day? Because you got that deep, you got like that deep throat like smoker voice like my dad.
Yo,
Pause.
pause,
You
homeboy.
Yeah, that's a
Pause,
wild
homeboy.
statement.
That deep throat shit, you can keep
No, I'm
that
talking
to
about
yourself.
the voice, man. It's
Alright?
the voice. The voice.
Nah.
You can say raspy.
Yeah, raspy
Villain.
is all right, but pause,
Apologies.
man.
Yes, you have the raspy voice.
You sound like Theo
I
Famo's
apologize.
dad.
Poor word choice.
Yo, stop it. Stop it. Just because I look like homeboy. Hold on, let me throw on the Cardis so I can really look like Teal's dad. Hold on. Let me do it. Let me do it real quick. Let me do it.
Wait, are you Theo
What?
Senior?
What? In the flesh, huh? You know what I'm saying?
We can't see you, unfortunately. He ain't got
Come
the-
on, fucking mind.
Camboso.
Hey, you could
Yo.
be worse. It could be worse, though. You could sound like
that.
It could
Yeah.
be worse. You could sound like that one dude Jerry from Baltimore. He has a really raspy
Yeah,
voice.
yeah. See, I've been called what's homeboy in Casino?
Which one? Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro?
Joe
which guy?
Pesci. I've been called Joe Pesci. I've been called cause see, it's what happened is I was born in Newark, New Jersey, North Newark, and I was raised in Boston.
I would have never guessed.
So my accents collide with the Boston and the Jersey. So
But
you
you're
see what I'm
Hispanic,
saying?
though, right,
So
man?
like it's like put them in the box, forget about it, and then bring me a water. You know what I'm saying to the car.
Right.
So, you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, is the way they say "ka" in Boston, man.
huh?
Go get the car.
Yeah.
No.
it's like, what?
Well. Ironically, I had to find that out on the low because I go down south to Florida, right? I'm up in this what is it called? Cracker Barrel, whatever restaurant, where like all the hottest women is big women, right? And I'm like, yes, this is cool, right? I'm like, I'm in heaven. And then the waitress comes up and bursts my bubble and she said, you talk funny. And I'm like, what you mean? And she
Oh,
was like, then all of a sudden, it's like, she kept coming over to ask me questions just to hear me talk. And it felt like, I was like, damn, do I have an accent? And like at that moment I found out like I had an accent. So I was like, shit.
Damn.
So like,
in other words,
so
she
you
was
got
getting
told
you
you
to
get.
talk so you could,
huh?
she was getting you to talk so she could like make a joke or show somebody.
Yeah, all the time. She was asking me stupid shit, and I
That's
realized what she was doing. You know what I mean? Like I picked up on what she was doing. You know, I'm a city kid too, so.
She probably told her coworker, "Hey, watch, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna ask."
Nah, of course they started coming. Man, listen, I was like, oh man, I'm amusement right now. Like,
I know,
you know,
that
but
sucks. If you realize it, that sucks.
yeah, when you realize it for the first time, you like, because like the whole time I'm like thinking, you know, I talk right, like, but you start to see like all world different shit, but like, yeah, that's what it is. It's like the same shit. Like we spin it right back around the block. Like I hear some French chick talk. I'm like, ah la, oui, oui, merci. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean? So it's attracting and appealing in some ways, and in others, you start to realize like, damn, maybe I don't. Like, how's my grammar? You know, how do I speak? And then you start to like feel some kind of way about it. Like, does the world view me like this type shit? But then we get online, we all realize we're all the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? We come from all walks of life, you know, so we spit it. But to your answer is, yeah, I do smoke cigarettes and my voice is raspy as a motherfucker. Because the weed don't help neither, being that my wife is dispensary manager and I haven't paid for weed in like 5 years. So
damn.
Yeah, no, I test out all the weed 2 weeks before it comes out. I have to like write down on a card and say like, is it grassy? Is it like rusty? And then like, does the smoke come out like white? You know what I mean? And then so I tested out for it because ever since my wife got the job, she like grew up on me and was like, I can't smoke weed anymore. And she doesn't. And like every day she does the same shit. She comes home, tells me to roll one up. Every day I smoke that one by myself.
So she uses you as a guinea pig.
Yeah, no. She just wants to be cool still. You know what I'm saying? Like
Damn.
inside she thinks she's still like that 17, 18-year-old girl. Like she wants to be that, but she's so responsible and her responsibility to do her job well oversees, you know, what she was as like a juvenile. So I admire her for like being able to like listen. I stopped smoking weed at 17. I started smoking weed because she was like, help me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, cool. So what I gotta do? Stay home, play video games, get online, and smoke weed. It's a hard job, gentlemen, but I got the job. I have the position. Okay, it's filled. It is filled. Okay, go
I'm
your
so
own way. All right, this is what I do.
He's all, it's a hard job, but
Now I'm gonna say this. That to move off of the whole subject, because we spent a little bit too much time on that. All of this started off of the question: was Al Haymon treated unfairly compared to Turki El Sheikh? And I would say absolutely not. They're getting the same treatment because here's the difference. If it feel like Turki was more accepted, it's because he came in making friends. Where Al Haymon was trying to not work with Bob, not work with Golden Boy, right? That wasn't going to happen. Turki made friends immediately with Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Remember, he made Frank Warren the lead promoter for the first couple of shows he did. So he came in a way where, yeah, they fuck with him, but that's because he putting money in their pocket. Haymon wasn't putting no money in Bob's pocket. He wasn't putting no money in Oscar's pocket. So, of course, it's going to be different. But you acting like they the same, and they not. Turki brought damn near everybody together. Damn near everybody, save one or two bad apples. But he damn near brought everybody. Who doing all that?
Someone's putting food in the microwave right now.
Shit. Motherfucker sound like he fighting the microwave. But yeah, like he brought everybody together. So why would you compare them? They're polar opposites. Where Turkey wanted to bring everybody together to start making the fights, that's not happening. Well, that's clearly not what Al Heyman was doing. Clearly.
I
So
could disagree with that. Like, hold on. Let's just say that. Well, we already know this, that PBC is an umbrella company, right? You have
mhm.
all these, promoters that have to do this, coyote manager thing to bring their house manager, Al Heyman, to make these fights, but they're all in house and they don't really make the fights we want to see. And since this guy Al Heyman comes from the music industry, right? Particularly, concert promotion. He tried to combine the boxing experience with the live music experience, and he failed at that. Spending all that waddling money on some bullshit, and you have your fighters walking into the ring with a rapper, but nobody knows who the fuck they are. Whereas Turkey, he knows everybody from like entertainment agents. They could bring in these A-listers. He knows how to make fights that people want to see because he's a boxing fan, and so he brought these people together to make the best shows possible. So where Al Heyman failed, Turkey succeeded 10 times, tenfold.
yeah, I would say that. I would agree with that because, and that's what I think the resentment is too. They're like, for a minute, they was all acting like Al Heyman was the Wizard of Oz. He could turn water into wine, right? And nah, none of that shit happened. But Turkey is who they pretended Al Heyman was. That yeah, he got that much power. He got that much influence. He brought everybody to the
I,
table.
I think
Hey,
that
hey,
Al
Jules, we got a
Heyman
super
is
chat
the
from
kind of.
Chico.
I
I
got you
think
right
that
now.
I think that Al Heyman right now is what the impression I'm getting are like these old kind of promoters that don't like change. They
Yeah.
like the way the sport is, and they don't want to evolve with everything else. It's kind of like me talking to my grandfather and him telling me, "Oh, sports were tougher when I was around, kid." Like he doesn't understand the rules that were put in place for longevity. Rather than seeing your quarterback for 6 years, you get to see him for 20 years.
Mm.
And it's like they don't want to evolve. They like their position, and they're like these
No, pero
old guys.
también el lío es que the guys that don't like change are what needs to change.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
they
that
don't.
the guys that don't want to evolve. That I said it in the video that I just did, that I just uploaded. That all the guys you see complaining and bitching and moaning in America, the shit you bitching about don't even make sense. That's one. But maybe the reason you're complaining about these changes is because you're what needs to change. We need to get you out of here.
Yeah.
Samson Lukowicz, yeah, we need to get you the fuck out of here. You're not trying to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Samson had the nerve to say, I won't go to Saudi. Motherfucker, they didn't inviting you.
nobody invited you to Saudi, bro. Like you hating outside the club type shit. Like, bro,
That's some
nobody
petty
asked
shit.
you to go over there though. Like you don't want to go over there. That's cool. They don't want you over there.
That's
Remember
like
what he
Tank
said,
not
Drew?
getting invited to the Ring Awards.
No, remember what he said, Drew? That he was mad. He was mad that Turkey called Louis de Cubas instead of. Well, what are he gonna call you for, Samson? You don't got no money. What are he
Why
gonna
you
call
cutting
you
the?
for?
Why you cutting
If he
another
wants
man's pockets?
wait, if Turkey wants a 1988 Toyota Tercel, he'll call Samson.
For real, like if he want a Honda Civic, he'll call Samson, bro.
Or
Shout
Dati.
out to Drew. Can we get Jules to do a daily routine video like that? Yo, that fucking video, bro. That's a tipo, man.
The
Like,
definition of doing too much, bro.
How would your video do, Jules? Would you have cafecito as your daily face dip?
you don't want to see my daily routine because it's gonna be me getting out the bed with a boner making coffee. Like, you don't want to see that shit. Motherfuckers don't want to see that shit. Like, I'm gonna fart a couple of times. I'm gonna scratch my ass. It's gonna be a lot of things that
Hey,
people
that shit
don't
would
need to
go
know about.
viral and
We
get a lot
don't need to see
of
that.
fucking traffic to the channel.
Motherfuckers don't need to see that. But yeah, like I think he uploaded another one or some shit like that, or he like a PSA or something. I'm like, yo, I don't really know who those videos are for, but credit to him because he getting money doing that shit. Now I see that shit everywhere. Like everybody doing their own version of that shit. Motherfucker wake up, put a chicken in his face. Another motherfucker, he was like trying to get eggs or some shit like that. It's like, yeah, he doing his thing, B. You know?
Just get a morning
Yeah,
blowjob. That's it.
But like you were saying, Jules,
that's
a lot of
crazy.
these
You're gonna
dudes
get banned.
they don't want structure brought to the game because with
No.
structure comes more scrutiny, more
Yep.
oversight, but there's more money
Yep.
when there's structure.
No,
Yep.
and what they don't like about Dana's league, I said it in a video I did that. Well, they want an environment where they could price themselves out and ask for more money than they worth. And in Dana's league, you can't do that. You get paid what you weigh, basically. If you ranked here, this is what you make. If your opponent is ranked here, this is what you make. Simple. Whereas guys like Brian Norman, well, no, they're not gonna like that because they want $1 million when they ain't worth 500,000.
Right.
So yeah, they not gonna like that. A lot of people not gonna like
Hey,
that.
hey, yo.
But Paulie,
Hey, yo,
you put
Jules.
Paulie in the video, and Paulie's like, well, they're not going to be able to fight outside the league. When the fucking shit that leaked from boxing, he said, if you get a fight outside the league, okay, we only take 10%.
It ain't even that. For complaining about fighters outside the league, that's not fighting fighters outside the league, bro. How long has there been politics in boxing? Was the Haymon fighters fighting all the top ranked fighters? Was they? Was
Nope.
was all the Golden Boy fighters fighting all the Matchroom fighters? The shit that he complaining about, what I'm seeing is, yo, Gary told you to do that. Gary Jonas told you to do that. Because the shit you complaining about, like, oh, these fighters is not fighting these fighters. When has that not been the case, bro? That's been boxing for the last 10, 15 years.
What's it called, Jules? I would even take it a step further. I would say like that whole thing about, oh, this guy's not going to fight this guy. To be honest, like if TKO was just starting, I probably wouldn't want to see that shit. What would I want to see one of their guys fight a top rank guy so they could get slaughtered?
The other thing is they don't like that
No.
somebody got money coming into the sport and they can't get their hands on it. That's the other thing that's gonna piss people off. That they getting money over there, they getting network money over there. Maybe if they get the ESPN deal, and Mauricio don't get none of that money. No, nobody get none of that money. All of that stays in Dana's shit.
Well, what I feel about that, about Dana White and the whole situation with Turkey going out and getting Dana, right? When him having Oscar De La Hoya, Frank Warren and Bob Arum right in front of him, he must look at the landscape of boxing and say, all of you entities have been in boxing and haven't changed shit. Now, I'm not getting Dana White for his vast knowledge in boxing. I'm getting Dana White for his ability to build something from the ground up. That's what he needs Dana White for.
And he not friends with none of y'all.
Right.
Dana is not friends with none of y'all, so there's no professional ties, no relationships. I don't gotta worry about if so and so is mad at me because I don't fuck with you anyway. So why the fuck would I care if you mad at me?
Right.
If you think about it, Dana already don't fuck with Oscar. He already don't fuck with,
He's
and
a
Oscar
sharp
don't
sword
fuck
right now.
and Oscar don't fuck with him. Dana and Bob, he don't fuck with Bob, and Bob don't fuck with him. If you notice, the promoters that's cool with Turkey, they don't got a problem with Dana. They not worried about Frank Warren is not worried about Dana. Eddie Hearn is not worried about Dana. Y'all worried about Dana because y'all want boxing to stay fucked up. Y'all want it to not have no structure, no status quo. Y'all want it, and y'all running that shit into the ground. In this country, if you look at it, boxing is in the ground, bro. It's in the ground.
Not everywhere else.
In America.
Not everywhere else, though. It's flourishing.
No, not everywhere. Yeah. No, of course not. Everywhere else, boxing is on the up. UK boxing, Japanese boxing, Australian boxing. Mexico never had a problem with boxing. Even Spain Spanish, Spain. They got boxing now and shit like that. It's little markets that's popping up everywhere. And for them, boxing is bigger than it ever was. But in America, yeah, everything fucked up. How do I know? Okay, how many major networks are showing boxing right now? Not the Zone. How many major networks are showing
American networks?
Right?
But, you want to know something? This goes much deeper than just boxing. It's because Americans are very hard to impress. We've already seen our fair shares of the Sugar Rays and the Mayweathers, and that's why a lot of us are not impressed. But it's a global sport. And boxing is flourishing everywhere else. Why is it that Terrence Crawford can walk out in Times Square right now and get maybe a crowd of, I hope, a couple hundred? But Inoue could step outside in Japan and thousands of fans. It's like in those other countries, you don't even basically have to say the guys that are on the card. They'll show up to support.
It's
But
look, it's
Americans,
two things. It's two things. The fragmentation of boxing, like yeah, that's true. But the fragmentation of boxing is also what caused that. Boxing was one sport way back. It was one sport. It was one sport, right? So the guy gets to go to the process to become a star. Terrence didn't really get to do that. By the time he did it, it's like it's cold product almost. The Spence fight, while it was a great fight, he did great and it did okay at the box office, 800,000 or 700,000 or whatever it was. It wasn't what it was supposed to be soon enough. That the torch didn't really get passed because y'all was running from that dude. Y'all was really running from that dude. So nobody passed him the torch.
Well,
He
another
didn't have. He didn't have the five. He didn't have the
another thing
5-year
that
victory
contributes to
lap.
the American market is that here in America, they only look at certain weights. They won't
Yeah,
go.
that too. That too.
They won't go outside
Glamour
of certain weight
divisions.
classes, and that's a problem. Because some of the better fights are in the lower weight classes.
That's true.
amen.
That's true. They don't watch. I don't think Americans really pay attention. I'm gonna say lower than 30. Lower than 30. I don't think they pay attention. Lower
And
than
that's a
30.
damn shame when you got fighters like Bam Rodriguez, Junto Nakatani, and Naoya Inoue. You got Oscar Collazo. These fighters are amazing.
Kenshiro
The only,
Taraj.
the only, the only fighter that I can say, hold on. The only fighter that I could say that got that love from the lower weights way back in the day was Michael Carbajal, and that's it.
Yeah, he got it. But that's a rarity, bro. 9 times out of 10, your average American boxing fan don't watch flyweights. They don't really watch
No.
light
Glamour
flyweights,
divisions.
super
130,
They don't watch that shit.
135, 140,
And
147.
Carbo, those guys fought enough
heavyweight.
to where like they were seen enough. Like even Bam don't fight the 4 or 5 times a year like the smaller guys used to.
También la otra vaina is that they're running out of people to watch if you pay attention. Now, I don't know if in the next 5 years, maybe Keyshawn will fill a void because the guys they've been
He's
watching
hot.
is they getting who making all
Who
that
fought him,
noise?
bro?
The guys that they've been watching, a lot of them conversations is getting stale. Like arguing about David Benavidez, that shit is getting old, bro. Javante, they already let it be known he was gonna fight Jake Paul. He's gonna fight Jake Paul, and after he made that money, do you think he would have stayed in boxing? Hell no, bro. He would have called it a career after that.
Hey, let us not forget the ladies
Yeah,
too. They're
Yo,
also
who fucking got this creaky ass? That's fucking Leo, bro.
No,
That's
it's
Leo's
not.
old ass rocking chair.
That motherfucker got one of them old.
Hey, but-
He's on that chair telling about how his countrymen fought MJ, bro.
Let
No, but
us
you-
not-
look, I
Y'all
have,
ain't
a,
One
right.
day.
I have a hot take from sports. From a sports way, from a sports point of view, I think boxing has been fucked up for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the biggest fights from a commercial point of view. I think it was Mayweather versus Pacquiao at
Yeah.
one point. Yeah,
Well, it still is. That's the highest grossing fight ever.
yeah, and that was a great fight on paper with two generational talents. That was the fight to make. But if we're talking about the sports sense, okay, the winner he needed to fight the other guy. He didn't fault him. Everyone give for a fact that at welterweight that was the man, and nobody made much about fucking Kell Brook or anywhere else. Nobody cared about the mandatories, and that was fine for that point. But I think that that changed the point, that changed all this shit was Golovkin, because Golovkin he was the guy who was talking about Undisputed, and suddenly all those other guys were talking about Undisputed. So
That's true.
the policies of boxing, they were on display. Like, yeah, these fights are not happening. That shit with Terence Crawford, yeah, Terence Crawford wanted to prove that he was the best at welterweight, and people stopped talking, but that fight didn't happen, and at the time that it needed to happen. In
Yeah.
all these other fights, if we were talking about fucking Gervonta Davis, 10 years ago, it was probably will be talked like a generational talent. Nobody will ask about who he was fighting. But now, yeah, we're talking about Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson and all these other guys because they have belts, and now belts matter.
I
Belts
disagree.
even
I
matter.
disagree. This is what I disagree on. Here's a couple of things. We keep looking at specific fighters when the model was broken the whole time. It's just it was a slow burn. I said this before. Other sports is bigger because they're more accessible to people. Other sports like the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, hockey, college football, a lot of that stuff, you don't gotta hop through a couple of walls to be able to watch any of that shit. F1 racing, NASCAR, you don't gotta hop through a bunch of walls to get through a lot of that shit. But year by year, they made boxing a fucking luxury item that you gotta have premium cable, and then you gotta pay for the pay-per-view. And every year, that shit made boxing smaller. It's just it was gradual. It wasn't right away, it was gradual. Because go back to the era that country grew up in, and I guarantee you, boxing was mainstream, way more mainstream than
it
this
was.
shit.
The big difference
What it was,
between
Jules, hold on,
sports and
country.
boxing now is the fact that they were on TV, and boxing used to be, but is no longer on TV unless you pay
On
for
terrestrial TV at that.
Yes.
We're not talking about cable networks. We talking about ABC, Wide World of Sports.
And once
Yep.
it stopped doing that, because if it didn't have that, that's what happened. Because on terrestrial TV, at least it was there all the time. The difference between boxing and other sports, the other sports give us a schedule. Football in the fall, Super
Yep.
Bowl. NBA in the thing, finals. So if boxing just had a set schedule to where, like, bro, this is the one we're gonna fight. These are the big
Yeah,
events.
but the thing is that boxing, look. Boxing was always kind of the wild, wild west. But what evened everything out is you had terrestrial networks
Exactly.
showing it. So it didn't. So it was like, yeah, it's not the most structured sport, but you able to get to it. It's easy to get to, and it's
No,
easy to watch.
You knew the
Whereas,
players.
right?
Jules,
Whereas,
wait,
well,
wait.
I'm in the middle of a sentence.
Yep.
When you put something on a premium cable network, I remember being a kid in the 80s. Everybody didn't have premium cable. Everybody didn't have Cinemax and HBO. Yeah, everybody didn't have that. So as boxing moves in a direction of a luxury item, because that's what premium cable was. It's in the name. Premium cable. That you got to have Showtime to see these guys. You got to have HBO to see these guys. Little by little, the audience just kept getting smaller. And now where it's at, it's like, I don't, look, being real, I don't even know if they could save this motherfucker in America. I don't know. If ESPN leaves, bro, that is all bad. That's all the major networks.
One place you can see boxing on terrestrial TV still is Mexico.
Yeah, they got
yeah.
But
they show it.
Do you see the difference that in Mexico, boxing is a national pastime, and you don't gotta hop through a bunch of fences or nothing to watch it. Here, yeah, this shit, like, you can't charge people $80 to see you fight a Cuban with a bad haircut. It's not gonna work, bro.
You can't put it behind a paywall.
I think that boxing lost its way from the very start. And what I mean by that is this, that we no longer view boxing like the Olympics in its actuality form. We are bred in America to pick our team. When we watch the Patriots play against the 49ers, that's two American teams. So we are taught to pick our favorite athletes. And we don't recognize boxing for what it truly is. And us versus them in competition, fair competition. Now, it's just like when you compete in the Olympics, you go out and you win a gold medal. Actually, Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, they're all on the same team. They represent our country, but we no longer see them as that. As boxing, we pick individuals, and we lost our way. We are bred here to pick our teams, just like football, baseball, and every other sport. We no longer see it for the purity that it actually is. And our boys sometimes got to acknowledge we can't take out each other. And sometimes when you see some of these fights not happening, like once upon a time, Vasily and Dennis Barancek had a belt, and then Vasily backs out just to let and say, put out a tweet on social media, quickly get the Americans to go against each other. And Ukraine had two opportunities to come in and beat us. Sometimes we got to view these fights for not happening as in a competitive nature, that we got to stop taking out each other.
Yeah,
What
but
beat
problem is,
another
I
great American fighter?
I
Another
disagree.
American fighter.
No, I disagree.
Boxing
No,
is
what?
not a sport, man.
No. I disagree with that. You know why? Because when that Ukrainian fighter is coming through the ranks, you know who he's fighting? Other fucking Ukrainians. When he's coming through, when the American fighter's coming through, who's he fighting? Other
fighting
fucking
ourselves.
Americans. So it's not that it's this the thing with boxing is it's not that that it's like the Olympics, because it's not. The real problem with boxing is too many of the boxers want to be business guys, and I don't watch boxing to watch business guys. I watch it to watch boxers. You have to fight. Is your job hard? Yes. If you don't like it, pick another one then. Don't box. You say boxing's dangerous? All right, then don't box then. Because the only reason the audience shows up is for the violence. That's why they show up. And if you say, oh, well, this is too risky and I need, yeah, see, that ain't gonna work, bro. And no matter what you might think of me, yeah, that's reality. It's not gonna work because it's not working. Why are pay-per-view numbers down? Why are they down? Explain it. You could say piracy all day. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis did 1 million buys, which proves the right fight will get people to show up. The problem is y'all think every fight is the right fight. You think as soon as you fighting somebody who can fight back, oh, we got to be on pay-per-view. That shit ain't gonna work, bro. That shit is not gonna work.
I think
we're mixing. I think we're mixing the eras and what's going on in the present time, where that Mayweather got these kids thinking that the O is the most important thing in boxing, which it's not, right? And then we're also like, mixing it in with the competitive nature of the sport and what actually should take place. In today's era, it's like clicks and likes, and I get it. It's evolving, and sometimes the worthy opponent doesn't get the shot or the recognition they're rightfully deserving. And it's all because of social media. And it's like the Jake Pauls of the world, they truly changed the game. And it's like sometimes we accept some of these things, but we push back on the business side of boxing. Like, where do we draw the line in the sand? Where are we happy as fans?
It's not complicated like that. It's actually simple. The reason that boxing is dwindling is because people are not excited. So what's it going to take for them to get excited? Fight! Fight! That's it.
That's all. It's simple. It's simple.
So if you, David Benavidez, yo, why you want an email title instead of a fight? You know what you got to do to get a fight? You like, bro, you rather have a belt and defend it against nobody. You rather get an email belt. Yo, who the fuck is that?
Sorry.
You rather have an email title when, dog, this guy beat Canelo. The only thing better than beating Canelo would be beating him. So make it your priority. And you're not doing that. You know what you're doing. You're not gonna get a fight doing this shit. Everybody know that. Trying to A-side him. Yo, he got a fight in Vegas. It gotta be on Amazon. It gotta be on PB. Yeah. You know you're not gonna get a fight doing that.
Brother, he never wanted to fight him.
This is why I like the ladies.
He never wanted to fight.
This is why I like the ladies, though, because they're actually willing to fight each other with a lot less hoopla than the men are. You know?
Yeah, like the main thing is, if you know, yo, look, Turkey gonna have him fight Better Beef again, but I gotta get the winner of that fight. That's all that is, bro. Square deal. You go in there with Callum, take care of business. You next. If you beat Callum, you next, bro. You just took out one of the other mandatories. And you even said, yo, who Mike is bugging out now?
I don't know. I heard it.
You even said you wanted to fight Callum when you was out there. So then what is the problem? They offered him to you. What's the problem? I don't understand. And
the thing is,
long story short, before I pass it to John, it's simple. The fighters don't want to fight. It's not complicated. One of the biggest fights that you can make in America is Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. Does Gervonta want it? No, he doesn't want it. He didn't want Devin. He didn't want T.O. He didn't want, when Loma was Loma, you didn't want Loma. So the real problem that and it's not like that for the other boxers. It's not like, it's not really like that with a lot of the other boxers from other countries. They willing to get down with each other and other people. But the Americans make it difficult and expensive to do these fights. And that's the problem. It's always been that.
Julius, I think what we lost in this couple of years was a crucial point of every sport. That is the pundits, the media. That the media got corrupted.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, because if you're a casual fan, I bet, I will bet anything that most of the guys that follow American football and NBA, they know a lot about the sport, a lot. But in the case of boxing, nobody really knows anything about the sport.
Not really. It's too confused. It's too confusing now.
Yeah, but the media makes it more confusing, but because they spread misinformation, they lie. They lie all the fucking time. It's like the
There is
BBC.
a lot of lying.
Yeah, the BBC is saying that David Benavidez is the interim unified champion. What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is a unified intergalactic champion, dog? What even is that?
That's David.
That shit doesn't exist. That's not a real thing.
You remember when?
That's just the sanctioning bodies fucking around.
You remember when Bret the Hitman Hart was the Intercontinental Champion? All my childhood, I didn't even know what the fuck that meant. Intercontinental? What does that mean? Is he the champion of this continent or somebody else's?
No, but
he's the champion of
but check this out, right, gentlemen? When the athlete becomes bigger than boxing, there are situations, very rare situations, and then I have been misled and heartbroken. Speaking of Manny Pacquiao, I was led to believe he was an 8th division world champion until I did my own research and investigation. And then I wondered why they did this to me. And it was because some rare occasions, boxers get bigger. He was viewed like a king out there. And I guess they got Max Callingham and ESPN. And I was devastated when I found out that, like, some of those belts were like, like minor titles and stuff, and they were counting like Ring magazines.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That what makes Manny an 8-weight champion, because one of them was just for the ring. One of them was just for the Ring magazine. But the ring is legit because you got to fight a top 5 guy to get that. So even if it's not an alphabet title, hell, I view the Ring magazine title as being better than them titles. Like, yeah.
Well, I view it as being prestigious, yes, in its own right.
No, but it's better. It's better because the Ring magazine title, you got to fight somebody good. You can't just fight Joe Titty Chest in the fucking in the WBC ring.
Okay,
you gotta fight somebody good.
Okay, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that scenario. Even though you're correct and you're right about what you say, it's not merit or worth. Nobody else can compete for it. So if no one else in the division, the number 10 and the number 11 guy can't fight for it.
No, but they could climb up the ranks.
That's the problem. In the WBA,
hold on. You're saying
in the WBA, the top 15 people can compete for it.
No,
you can't. Hold on. Wait.
Let me correct that.
Wait, let's go.
The same as any other alphabet organization. When Joseph Parker fought Anthony Joshua, right? They were number 3 and what was it? Number 3 and number 1 in the division at the time. Ring magazine is not different. When George Groves fought Callum Smith, Callum was number 7 in the ring.
Okay.
So you can fight.
Now, I agree with you. I agree with you. They do award the belts to the people they deem worthy to compete for it, right? But it's been more of a popularity contest rather than a belt that is sanctioned and backed
With who? Who was
Oh,
it
so
about?
when Oscar De La Hoya owned it in his era, it was just a mysterious coincidence that Mexican fighters happened to inherit it more than anybody else.
Wasn't Oscar fighting everybody though?
But no, but that okay, honey. But that's Oscar. Yo, we're not talking about
Nah,
Oscar
you
De La
just
Hoya as
my
a
dude.
fighter
You just my
in
dude.
ring.
You no. Wait a minute. I grew up in that era. You can't use Oscar as an example to delegitimize the Ring
No, I
Magazine
think you
title. And
misunderstood
I don't
what I
even
said.
and bear in mind, I don't even like. I'm not. Y'all know I ain't crazy about Oscar, but that motherfucker fought everybody. Who?
No,
What
I think you
Oscar? Who?
misunderstood
What
what I
Oscar was
said.
gonna have a Ring Magazine title?
No, I think you misunderstood what I said. I said in the era that Oscar owned the Ringside Magazine, not Oscar as a fighter. He's a dog as a fighter, and he has a
Okay.
warrior's credential. Yes, I know that. I think you misunderstood what I said. I said as the time as Oscar owned the Ringside Magazine, there was a surge of Mexican fighters that inherited the Ringside Magazine. Now that Turkey bought it from him, I see that what he did was he bought himself a belt that did not need a lot of, like, to convince a lot of people that it was a world title. What is the Ringside Magazine? It's basically the people's champion. It was established back when, like, in the age where this guy wouldn't fight that guy, and for racist killer skin or whatever. And then they said, wear this belt proudly, and we recognize you as the people's champion. As it evolved and throughout years, they try to put like these rules on it, but it was never backed by any. It was more like a belt, a trophy that was a belt that you wrapped around your waist. If the Ringside
still had to
Magazine was
fight
a
for
real
it,
belt,
though.
if the
Dude,
Ringside Magazine was a real belt, why don't they say in a 5-belt era? They say a 4-belt era.
This the
Not a
thing.
5.
This
They
the
don't
thing.
even
Bro, you gotta calm
acknowledge
down.
it.
You gotta calm down and let other people talk, bro. You're monopolizing the conversation. Now, first and foremost, the belts that you putting above the Ring Magazine are not even as old as the Ring Magazine title. The Ring Magazine title has more history than
Yes.
literally every alphabet organization.
Yes.
The best of the best champions, only the best of the best,
Except the
have
WBA.
ever held the Ring Magazine. Only the best of the best.
You're correct.
Damn, Rolly held the fucking WBA title. What's more legit, the Ring Magazine champion or Rolly holding a WBA?
In today's era, the Ring. In today's
No,
era,
no,
the
no,
Ring.
but
But the
the thing is-
WBA is the founder of all the belts. The WBA is the original. They started it
It's the
off.
oldest. It's the oldest. I give him that. I'll give
Round
you that.
one.
It's the oldest.
Round one.
The ring isn't older than
Yeah.
the WBA.
I don't know. If,
Well,
I don't
by
know.
a year, by a year. But let me ask you this. Round one. Let me ask you this. Did Rocky hold the WBA title?
Rocky's a fictional character.
Did Rocky hold WBA?
No, but I'm saying like in
Marciano, bro. Rocky Marciano.
But what I'm trying to get at is that Ring Magazine at a time used to be part of pop culture when it came to the Rocky movie.
And Rocky's
And
in the Hall of Fame.
I agree to that. I even argued with a man, right, that argued with me. He says, man, the Hall of Fame is shit, right? They let
Nah, I ain't
Sylvester
going.
Stallone in,
No,
right?
Feta, I'm gonna say something.
And I said,
hold on, I'm gonna say
and
something.
I said, Rocky's not in the Hall of Fame because of what he did for boxing. He's in the Hall of Fame for the contribution to the music that he inspired men and women all throughout the world. The level of reach that the Rocky movies reach would far exceed most boxers. So the influence that Rocky movies put onto a lot of boys and girls, it's just he deserves the right to be in the Hall of Fame, I think.
Yeah, it's a Hall of Fame. Fame being the key word. I understand that.
Can you be emailed the ring belt like these other belts, or do you have to
No.
fight for it?
Nope.
Okay, but
No.
to your point, that
You don't get-
Manny Pacquiao wasn't an A division champion. Okay, right. There is no need to lie about fucking David Benavides. There is no need to lie about Gervonta Davis being a 3 division champion. No, there is not a need to lie about those motherfuckers. There are not even a fraction of fucking Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, but the
I don't
other
think
thing
it's-
is, but
Yeah.
the other thing is, when I look at the ring, why is that a legit title? you don't just get sent the Ring Magazine title like they send out WBA titles, and you don't get elevated to Ring Magazine champion. You literally have to fight for it. That's the only way. And you got to fight the top dude or the top dudes to get it. There's no, you don't get elevated like Javante got elevated to Ring Magazine. No, he got elevated to WBA champion. He didn't win it from nobody. He got elevated to that. And that's how all them other sanctioning body belts work. Whereas the Ring Magazine, no, you have to fight the dude. You have to. It's the only way it's gonna go down. They don't just hand them shits out like them other belts. That's why it's not a Ring Magazine champion in every division. Because y'all tough motherfuckers, y'all gotta fight. And if y'all not gonna fight, then it ain't a Ring Magazine champion. Till y'all do.
What you're talking about leads to another conversation, that is the rankings. That all these rankings, the Ring Magazine ranking and the WBA, the WC, and so on and so forth, sometimes can be a little bit weird, to say the least. Like, there is fighters that they're like, what the fuck is he doing in that position? What the fuck is he doing in the top 10 when he hasn't fought nobody? Fighters that can move like 10 positions for nothing, really.
Yeah.
For losing, really.
Yeah.
Like in the case of fucking Isaac Cruz.
Gary Antoine Russell. Fast track to a title shot off a loss over like a year ago or whatever it is. That don't happen with the Ring Magazine. That's what makes it more legit than them other titles. That you're not gonna get this one on some bullshit. This the one, there's no way you get this belt on some bullshit. You got to fight somebody for this one. You have to.
Jules, prestigious wise, you got that. Prestigious wise, yes. But recognition throughout the major sanctioning bodies. I mean, the IBO seems like they're next in line, and I think that Turki bought this ring, and he's really going to try to battle it against the sanctioning bodies. And
I'm not against that because the sanctioning bodies. I'm not against that. But look, here's an example, right? Here's how bullshit the WBC is. Sebastian Fundora has been a world champion for over a year now. He had a mandatory in the queue for a lot of those months. Did you order it? No. When Jermall Charlo was the WBC champion and he had a mandatory challenger in the queue for like a year and a half, 2 years, Carlos Adames, did you order it? No. But as soon as Dimitri wins a belt, you order it. That's the sanctioning bodies. Inconsistent. Always playing favorites. That's not more legit than Ring Magazine. How?
Right.
What's more if those belts are better, what's better about them?
Well, the situation is this, is that sometimes what the WBC and the WBA is doing is not what the IBF and the WBO stand for. And then I think that we're getting them all confused and saying all of them are doing this because I think that the IBF are trying to stand on business, and then the WBC, it's I try to tell people they don't have a legit ranking system. They have a 32 board member and they elect the fighter they deem worthy to fight for their belt. Maybe not the fighter more deserving, but the one worthy. And the WBA lives by the same standard. The IBO,
but the IBF's only acting nice because after that federal indictment, so we can't cast them as the beacon of fucking morality.
It's not the beacon. I'm not saying it's the beacon.
One, they roots is corrupt. That's how they got started. That was the Don King belt, unless I'm mistaken. Two, even if they a better run. What, the IBF?
Remember that? Yeah, remember that bullshit with fucking Knucklehead Sean?
The WBA got bribed by Bob Arum in 1982.
But what organization is not corrupt? Come on, guys. Let's stay in line with.
That was his point.
Bro, you just made the point for me. You saying that all the sanctioning bodies is corrupt. You know who's not? Ring Magazine. You know why? They don't collect sanctioning fees from fighters. They don't even charge them the way the sanctioning bodies do. They don't play favorites on the premise of who's going to bring us more money if they have our title. The way to get that belt is the old way. You have to fight for it. If you don't, you're not gonna get elevated to Ring Magazine champion. You have to
And
fight for it.
why you think I said Turkey Al Sheikh is gonna take that ring and put it up
Yeah,
against
but
the
it
four
been that
sanctioning
way.
bodies?
That didn't start with Turkey. It been that way. It been that way. Like, yeah, if you want a Ring Magazine title, you got to fight the best of the best in your division. That's the only way you're gonna get it.
It's harder to get a ring belt than any
They
other
set a
four
standard.
sanctioning body belts.
For
Yeah.
real. Them belts, you could motherfucking get one of them fucking belts just being in the ranks too long.
But how the fuck did Loma get it?
That's how Javante got
How
his.
did Loma get it?
Get which one?
The ring. How did Loma get the ring if he didn't fight the top guy for the ring?
Okay,
if
let
it's
me
not
ask-
a popularity contest.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Who had the Ring Magazine title before Loma? Because you clearly don't know.
No
You
one.
don't
It
know,
was
do you?
vacated.
Bullshit.
Who had it?
Jorge Linares. He was the number one at lightweight at that time. You didn't
But
know
when
that.
he lost his belt, doesn't he lose access to the ringside magazine?
To Loma.
Bro, who took Linares? Tell me, who took Linares' WBA and Ring Magazine title? Who?
Loma?
Loma.
Duh. That's who he won it from.
But can't the ringside magazine be
He lost at
only
140,
awarded to
not
the top
135.
guys? It can't be one over. That's why Tio kept his.
When he lost at 140, he had already lost to Loma, which is why he went to 140. So losing to Pablo Cano doesn't even come into it. Because I know that's what you're talking about, Drew. When he went up there, he got his ass.
Oh
beat
yeah,
like
see,
a
yeah,
round.
I got it mixed up. He went up after Loma.
That was after Loma already beat him. That was
Okay.
after that. The Ring Magazine, Loma was not elevated to Ring Magazine champion. He won it from Jorge, and then you got to go back even further to see, okay, well, who Jorge won it from? How did that happen? But yeah, he wasn't elevated to that position. He had to fight somebody for it, and most people don't remember this, but at the time, Jorge was number one at lightweight. I know that seems strange because everybody beats his ass now, but yeah, there was a time when he was the number one lightweight. Loma had just got there.
Did Loma get the ring at 130?
No, he never got it.
He did, and he
Because
didn't. He just got
never
the belt.
got it. He never had it at 126 or 130. He never had it.
No, but he only got belts at those weights.
Yeah, he just got sanctioned and body belts, BO belts. Rocky Martinez.
And Tio got it from Loma, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Loma got it from Linares. Tio got it from Loma. George got it from Tio. Devin got it from George. And then he
Tio got it
vacated.
from fucking Taylor at 40.
And then he vacated. Now there is no Ring Magazine champion at lightweight because Devin moved up while he was at lightweight. While he was there, he didn't get beat. He moved up. Now process starts over. But there ain't no Ring Magazine champion at lightweight right now. Why though? Because for there to be one, y'all gotta fight.
So
Tank has to fight.
So
Tank
Tio
gotta
got it
fight
at
Couture.
140 because he beat Josh Taylor?
Yes. He was
Okay.
Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was, remember, Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion.
Disputed, right.
Yep.
That's how he got his Ring Magazine.
That's how,
status.
okay.
T.O. won it from
He
him.
fought Ramirez
Right.
for it.
You guys know there hasn't been a Ring Magazine champion at 160 since Canelo?
Bro, I'm not
I
surprised.
fucking hate that division, bro. God,
There's nobody
160
there.
was Shit.
There's
Yeah.
nobody
Canelo,
there.
bro.
It's a barren
Imagine that
division.
shit.
I wish one
Fundora's
of the
moving up
Charlo
to fight
twins went
Lara,
there.
bro. I know he is. Fundora's going to go fight Lara.
Charlo was there. Jermall was there and didn't want to fight Andre and didn't want to fight Yanni back and didn't want to fight Adames, which is why there is no Ring Magazine champion at 160. Why? Because for there to be one, y'all got to scrap. We not just giving these out. Y'all got to fight.
Right, right.
Not just-
Canelo fought the number one and number two Triple G and Jake.
Literally, Triple G and Danny Jacobs for the IBF. He fought the number one and number three because it was those two. Golovkin was viewed, at least in that period in time, as the number one middleweight in the world. Canelo fought him. Then after they do what they do in them two fights, he fought Danny Jacobs right after that. Danny Jacobs was the number three. They don't just be giving Ring Magazine titles out for fighting fucking Kyron
Rolly.
Davis.
Lamont Roach.
Verdad, you're not gonna get a Ring Magazine title fighting Dike Lamont Roach and you Gamboa. That ain't gonna work, bro. Yeah, we don't give those out for that, bro. If Javante, if you want to be a Ring Magazine champion, you may have to fight Shakur Stevenson, the fight you don't want, and that's why I fuck with them because the other sanctioning bodies watered down the sport, handing out these titles like Halloween candy. Whereas Ring, no. There's a standard, and we're gonna keep it. If the number one and number two not gonna fight, then we ain't got no Ring magazine champion. Simple.
Meanwhile, Mauricio will give you a WBC belt if you let him fucking tickle you and take the brown paper bag out.
For real.
Nah, Mauricio and the WBC, they really like showing that they're the strongest organization in boxing. They stick their nose in everybody's business. Just like when Gervonta Davis was fighting for the WBA world title against Frank the Ghost Martin, they wanted to honor the event with a WBC freedom belt. Like, dude, you're not even here. Like,
Juneteenth belt.
It just goes to show you how powerful they are.
Como
Like
que,
Mauricio,
pero powerful how, manín? ¿Tú no viste que ese tipo estaba paniqueado?
claro que sí, in the
because
boxing
Turkey-
voice, estaba paniqueado.
No, espera. Que cuando Turkey se puso a bregar con este tipo, con el Dana
Right.
White, ¿qué hizo el mamagüevo de Mauricio Sulaimán?
He kissed the ring.
He sends an email to all the champions. And y'all remember the
Oh,
email
yeah.
that pose with your belt and tell everybody how proud. Bro, you're not powerful. Turkey's powerful. Why? Because Turkey got money. You don't have money. Turkey got money. You don't got money. The network. If it ain't Turkey giving money, the TV network has the power, not Mauricio. If you really want to know what Mauricio is, you a parasite. Nobody get paid off of you. You gotta get. The only way you get paid is off of other people. But you don't pay nobody. You a parasite.
Yeah. I agree with what you said, but Mauricio understands one thing. He has a prestigious world title, and I gotta admit the WBC is a staple in boxing. Just like when I saw Demetrius Bivol fight against Arthur, and I saw Tyson Fury, and they held up that undisputed piece of tin. I was like, dude, throw that shit away. That's not what you were fighting for. I want to see your hard work. I want to see all the belts wrapped around you. And that's what Mauricio is gambling on. Although he doesn't have that kind of power of what you speak of, his power lies in his belt. See, a lot of these fighters think that they own the world title. They don't understand they're at work.
I disagree. ¿Tú sabes por qué? If he had power, Canelo wouldn't have dumped the belt. If he had power, Riddick Bowe wouldn't have dumped the belt.
Well,
when push comes to shove, April 8th, if Dimitri Bivol has to choose between staying loyal to Turkey or keeping that belt, watch him stay loyal to Turkey because you don't have power.
He's loyal to the PBC.
PBC, what?
You see, David the Monster Benavidez, it's like all Al Heyman's fighters, right, are showing like that they're not backing what Turkey is doing. So he spent more time in baggage claim than he did at the fight, which showed he really didn't want the fight. You know. Yeah. So it's like I don't buy into the concept that okay, look, Turkey is he's doing what he's doing for the sport, but the PBC is every year I think they're falling apart, and somehow they're still here. I've been hearing this story about them for the last 20 years, and I got to admit.
Well, I don't know how you could have heard that story for 20 years when they've only been around for 10, bro.
Well, I'm being exaggerated, but it seems forever.
20 years of the PBC? Did I miss the first 10?
Maybe 20 years of Al Heyman, but listen, wrong one. Let me give you an idiom.
Yeah.
Man makes the belt, not the other way around.
Right.
Exactly. Now look, I'm gonna go make some coffee. I'll be right back.
All right. I think that all the world champions that held the titles is exactly what you just said. The WBC is only as prestigious as its champions. I think Floyd Mayweather held the torch pretty significant. And when you saw Mayweather come to the ring, all you saw were the green belts all around him. He was very loyal to them. In the end of the day, what the organizations are actually saying is that my champion is better than yours. For the gentleman that said that boxing has been in a bad era, I agree, but there has been a surge in 2023 when we saw a lot of unification world titles. It seemed like everybody got a shot at a world title, and it was a lot of unifications. And then we're starting to see the reality of boxing, where that boxing is based on two individuals, and when you got two men that can say no, it makes it complicated when you can't get the other guy
Yeah.
to say yes. I think that we need to get to a situation where we need to hold these boxers accountable, and William Cepeda doesn't become the number one across the board at one point in time. How do you do that without fighting a champion? And it's like, I get it, but boxing's tough. It's tough to understand when you got a guy in a microphone saying one thing and behind the scenes not accepting the fights. And then we
Yeah,
don't get it. And then we got guys like Anomaly, like Tank Davis, a huge talent, but really doesn't fight anybody, seems to play it safe. Then I look back at Tank and I say to myself, well, there is life after boxing, isn't there? You can be a prize fighter, get the bag, get in, get out, less damage. I can respect that. And Tank's been saying the whole time, I don't want to fight for belts. And George Cambosa, if you want to fight me, vacate the belts. I just haven't been listening. So then I look at Tank Davis and I say, okay, Tank, maybe you're thinking not such hard fights. Maybe you're thinking just get the bag, right? But sometimes we as fans, we look at these fighters and we hear what Tank says. What did Shakur do? And we all know Shakur did more than him, right? So it's like these fighters like sometimes backlash us for holding them accountable for what they say, but at the same times I realize how brutal boxing can be, and that there is life after boxing. I understand Javante, and in another sense, I'm frustrated with him. I see a good talent, and then I see someone that hasn't fought anybody. And it's hard. It's hard in these days to support these guys. And I get it. I get it. American boxing, man, listen. If you don't look like Sugar, man, you ain't impressing me. I get it. But,
yeah,
you know,
but the difference is, I agree with Julius that boxing is a very difficult sport to understand. But the problem is the media. It's not that you are not talking about what you need to talk. You're actually lying. You lie about the fucking sport and what it is all about. If you don't, I think some people lie. Some of these people don't really understand the structure of the sport. I'm not talking about the promotional companies and the managers.
right,
No, the fucking rankings. What you need to do to fight for a belt. In
right,
what ranking, what position of the ranking you need to be. All that shit. Those motherfuckers really lie. They
right.
spread misinformation about the sport, so the people don't know what to think, and they start supporting guys that really need support, that don't really deserve support, because some motherfucker on the internet told them that this motherfucker is legit, and he's not.
Yo, Bobby, you're 100% correct, right? It's crazy because
I
you
never see
couldn't
it.
do that in the
Not
NBA.
Bobby.
You couldn't do that in the NFL.
Let me say this for
You
starters.
can't.
All right, you got to calm down because it's too. It's. I only hear one voice coming out of here, and it's like 7 people on this motherfucking panel. For starters, the media dichotomy is different because boxing scene is owned. Before it was owned by Showtime, well, by Paramount, right, Drew? It was Paramount that owned them. Now it's owned by Gary Jonas. So basically, it's owned by a promotional company.
Yeah.
Ring Magazine is owned by a promotional company. Before it was Golden Boy, now it's Turkey, basically. But that's tantamount to a promotional company. And what's different about this era to the previous one, boxing was covered by mostly journalists, mostly before. Whereas now there are very few journalists left, like actual journalists. There are very few left. The rest is really just fans with a camera. 'Cause that's what your average podcaster is. That's what your average Ellie Seckback vlogger is. It's fans with a camera. So the coverage is gonna be shit. You could fix all that though. You know what could all these problems that you named, Leo, about the media not doing a job that they're supposed to do. You know what fixes all of that? Fights.
Yep.
David Benavidez would have got exposed a long time ago if you would have fought Better Beef. If you would have fought Bivol, yeah, you would have been got exposed already. And we wouldn't
And
have
you
to worry about some pundit sucking your dick. We wouldn't have to worry about that because you would have got exposed already. When they were sucking Errol's dick, right? What changed all that? Terrence beating the shit out of him.
yeah.
That's what changed all that.
And that's why a lot of the content creators are criticizing TKO. You know why? Dana White don't allow these fucking clowns like Ellie with cameras in
There
MMA
you go.
junkets.
There you go.
He
And
don't
you
like
gotta
none
be
of that clown shit.
and as much Dana like it's not being a fan of Dana. It's that look, we've been doing things one way for a long time and it clearly hasn't been working, has it? We've been doing things this wild west way in America for a long time. So I say I'll give the TKO shit a chance. I don't know if it's gonna work. But I give it a chance because the same old shit. We not getting Benavidez versus Bivol, man. We not getting it. We not. Drew, how many millions of times I said that fight is not gonna happen, man.
No.
Whatever's whatever, it ain't gonna happen.
But like you said, we've been trying the same thing for so long, and the pie is getting smaller and smaller. There's less shows each year, less
There's
shows each
less
year, less
money.
money. Yep.
You know, like it's people should look at it as scary. The NBC left, Fox left, Showtime left, ESPN might leave. Now you tell me if ESPN leaves, who's left? Who's left? The Zone is international. That's not an American network. That's an international network. What, y'all gonna rely on the PBC and Amazon and they 5 or 6 shows they might do this year? That's gonna fill the void? Motherfucker should be scared. Better welcome that shit. You better welcome Turkey and all his motherfucking money into the sport.
That's why Turkey's such a breath of fresh air to the sport and a needed injection. Because look what he's doing.
Yeah, but look, I don't have a problem with a guy like Jake Paul making millions of dollars of the sport because everyone knows it's a show, it's a spectacle. That's what it is. You want to see the two guys that they're not really at top level, but it's a intriguing fight in its own right. But when a motherfucker like David Benavidez thinks he can get an email belt and make a couple of bucks in Las Vegas, that takes away something from other people. In this case, Dimitri Bivol, because that's crazy. It's a conspiracy in its own right because you are conspiring against Dimitri Bivol to get him to drop the belt.
Yep.
To give him a motherfucker that he doesn't deserve it because he doesn't want to fight the real champion. For what? To go to Las Vegas and make a you're probably going to end up fighting one super middleweights at light heavyweight. That's on brand for the PBC.
Bro, ese tiene que ser plan because the guys in the light heavyweight division, the ones that have names and they have rankings and they're good fighters, right? They're considered the good fighters of that division. Those guys are not poor. Joshua Buatsi gets money, yeah, and I'm not saying he getting Canelo money, but he get money. Boxer pays him. Anthony Yard gets money. Callum Smith gets money. You ain't luring none of them guys to America for what you be paying David Morales. Hell no. It won't happen. So you could get your email title because I already know how this ends. It's not going to end well for you. It never ends well for fighters like you. It never does, ever. In the history of the sport, sooner or later, the guys that are like you get found out.
Yeah, the plan is simple. You're gonna fight a couple of cab drivers and fucking paleteros and so on and so forth. The kind of guys you can fucking ace out the fuck out of them.
Yep.
In Las Vegas, so you're gonna get the lion's share, and you know those fights are winnable. In fact, you're gonna be the favorite for all those fights, and you're gonna.
I just want to know how many people are gonna pay $80 to see David Benavidez versus El Paletero or El Elotero. How many?
No, because
not you. What I'm saying is the end is closer than people think because this is not sustainable in any way, shape, or form. This is not sustainable. So, David, let's just fast forward a couple of months, Leo. Let's say con el mamagüevo de Mauricio, they get him a WBC. Okay, now what? You gonna fight? What are you gonna do? Because you want to charge the consumer $80 every time you fight. So, who are you gonna fight? You know that they're not going to pay $80 to see you fight El Paletero, ¿verdad? You can't keep doing this. The proof is in the pudding. This is what you guys were doing that got Showtime to leave boxing. You think Amazon? How long is the deal? What is it, 2-3 years? And what year is it? This is not sustainable, what you're doing. It's not. Now, there's a reason that Elvis went back to Top Rank and Erickson Lubin's next fight is on Pro Box. It's not even on Amazon. It's on fucking YouTube, bro. He's on YouTube, bro. It's a
And why De
reason.
Los Santos is calling out Keyshawn.
De Los Santos about to come back, fight Keyshawn off over a year of inactivity. It's a reason y'all didn't used to do shit like that. Y'all didn't. Y'all used to keep it in-house. You don't have a house to keep it in. You don't have it. So what I'm saying is the end is closer than people think, and Samson and David are gonna have to make a real decision. Probably like I think soon. Because yeah, you got a belt. Well, congratulations. Who are you gonna charge $80? Who are you fighting? Who?
I think
Jesse Hart?
rather rematch, maybe.
Jesse Hart for $80 on Amazon, yo.
Yes, sir, baby. Yeah.
Ow!
I like it.
Ow! At light heavyweight, yo. Ow! What, Joe Smith Jr., you gonna dig him out the construction site?
I hope so. He might get found out by him.
He's
Yeah,
still
he
reeling-
might.
He's still reeling from Archer Betterbeef's knockout punch, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's not a division where it's a lot of sexy fights. The big fights and the good fights that would make you pay attention all happen to be international. There's not a proliferation of American fighters in that division. You want to get money, you got to go on the world stage. You have to. And you don't want to. You think you could play these games. You could play these games at super middle because they had a couple of bodies for you to fight and you could bring up 1 or 2 guys. Now you're kind of fucked because you want to be a pay-per-view guy now. Well, all right. Good luck. Good luck. Shout out to Liam. The problem with Americans is you guys think the rest of the world wants to be just like you. The reality is the developed world laughs at how insular. You all don't laugh at me, fucking Liam. I didn't laugh at you. Shit. Fuck y'all laughing at me for? Mexican Killer said Mirage doesn't want to jump on the panel because he will get. Yeah, he don't want to get. Yeah, I felt bad for him when Nesta was yelling at him, bro.
That shit was funny as fuck, man.
I felt bad, bro. Like, damn, you don't got to do Mirage like that, Nesta. Come on, bro. You don't got to do that. Gotta be like that. You know what I'm saying? But
all you do is sit there and say, "Here we go again."
You know what I'm saying? Yo, I really laughed at that shit for 10 minutes. He was so mad. Oh shit. But yeah, yo, like it's a lot of problems, and the fix is simple. It's just that, you know, it's gonna take a minute. I don't know with certainty that it will get fixed, because a lot of these guys, they got bad habits. They want to be a superstar over. It's like, yeah, that's a part of the problem, dog. You could have a belt, you could have 2-3 belts. That don't really mean you a superstar, though. You a superstar when you sell a lot of pay-per-views, really. That's what I mean, as far back as I can remember, that was always the earmark of the superstar, that he sells a lot of pay-per-views. He's must-see TV. Mike Tyson in his heyday, you knew the fucking fight might last 30 seconds, but it's Mike, bro. And that was the superstar shit. Everybody ain't got it like that, but everybody in this era, they think they do.
That's why boxing's a business disguised as a sport.
The thing is that all sports are a business. All of them. The most successful franchise, the Yankees, is still a business, but it's a sport. And you selling sports. Boxing is the only sport that tries to get away from what the fuck makes it money. You make money off of fights, bro. Not narratives, not podcasts, not boxing scene articles. You make money off of fights. You got to make fights. It's the only way. It's the only way.
Yeah, but hammering my fucking point once again. What I'm talking about is, look, there is a reason why you cannot, Julius, you cannot interview those guys. You cannot interview a Samsung Lukowitz or a Mauricio Suleiman.
Nope.
They will not last 5 minutes in a live with you. Because
shout out to Broadway Joel. When Broadway Joel was interviewing Mauricio, and he didn't even ask him no mean shit, no fucked up shit like, yo, why you so fat? He didn't ask him nothing. He didn't ask him nothing fucked up. He asked him some basic. He really asked him some. He was asking him about Adames, and those were legitimate questions. And because Mauricio didn't have an answer, he didn't want to talk to him. I don't know why y'all get these people to interview. Like, bro, those was regular questions. He didn't say nothing fucked up. He didn't. But it is what it is.
That's the state of the medium.
It is what it is. You can't. It's never gonna work until that won't come. Going back to that, where the media is not eating out of the hand of the sanctioning bodies. That won't come unless boxing goes mainstream, and then you have outside networks, because that's the way it is on Sky. You know, when Pierce Morgan was talking to Conor Ben, Pierce Morgan don't need Conor Ben to get money. You see what I mean? He big on his own. That, yeah, I could ask you. He asked them, so why don't you just show the proof? Blah, blah, blah. He could ask the uncomfortable questions. Why? Because if you leave, it don't affect me. It don't affect me. You don't pay me. I get paid off this network. I don't get paid off of you. Whereas in America, a lot of the content creators, a lot of the people that cover the sport, they need that access. So they got to be careful with what they ask. And it won't change until boxing is so mainstream that it's the news network paying the pundit, not access to the fight, or I'm in press row, all that bullshit. You know?
How the hell do we fix that?
They gotta fight. That's the only way. Like, you gotta make boxing exciting to the common man again. And it can't be exciting if you keep telling people, yo, you gotta pay 80 for this. Right. You gotta pay 80 for that. You gotta pay 80 for that. Yeah, that's not gonna work, because most motherfuckers not gonna pay that. They gonna steal it.
You gotta make them fight again, and you gotta put it back on terrestrial TV and have the big fights that everybody really, really wants to see.
Knowing the other fucked up part, country. This how I know we owe. Terrestrial TV ain't even what it used to be anymore, bro. You know that networks like Fox, they don't get watched as much as they used to when we were young. Like Fox, Channel 11, NBC, ABC, Channel 9. They don't even have the pull that they used to. Look, ESPN doesn't even have the pull that it used to. Remember, that was the biggest sports network in the country. Now, y'all losing everything. Y'all losing UFC. Y'all losing Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but I also think that that's due to, in part, to the era where that everybody got greedy and wanted to, like, have you stream for every damn channel there was. You know, it used to be a time where we bought basic cable and we got to see ESPN and all the other channels for free. I think the networks might have gotten greedy and they're fucking shit up, man. It's like you say, man. We gotta get the Zone app and a Top Rank app to see these fight.
That is true. That the advent of apps further fragmented, because it's like it's fragmented. That you got these guys over here, and yo, look, I personally like the Zone app. But I see it all the time. People saying, yo, I don't want to pay $300. It's not $300, by the way. It's still the same price. It's $220 something. I pay the $220 something. I pay it because it's cheaper than paying. It's cheaper than paying month to month. But I see a lot of people say, yo, that shit too expensive. So it is what it is.
For some people.
Alex gonna come on the tail end of the live when I'm sleepy and want to go jerk off.
Hey, you good, man? Hey, I'm just killing time. I'm chilling, man. I'm mellow. What's good? What we covering and shit?
Nah, just the same fucked up shit.
That's
I got threatened today by the toughest internet gangsters.
No doubt.
Internet. Yeah, you gotta be
basically another day.
Ride for the set.
No, I mean,
hey, Coach Malachi says he gets those dudes all the time. They be talking about, I got shooters, homie.
Hey, Jules, hey, no bullshit. Hey, all bullshit aside though. You remember back in like the 80s and the 90s when motherfuckers used to stack and shit? Remember that shit? You seen that shit?
What you talking about? Wait, you talking about 52 blocks? What you talking about?
Nah, when dudes would stack for real with their hands.
Oh, what?
Gang-
All that shit?
Yeah, like dude would like tell stories with their hands and hand signals and shit.
Oh, nah, I mean, not around
You
my
seen that?
way. You know, look, if you was in New York, you don't start seeing all this funny looking shit till around 9-5, 9-6 when the Bloods and the Crips
Brothers,
get over there.
brothers, that comes from prison.
Okay,
That comes
No,
from
but
prison. That
well,
hand talk
I,
is so that we can talk around the guards and we can send it through cell to cell. And it came out to the street.
eso se sabe, pero lo que
Yeah,
yo
we're
estoy
talking something
diciendo es que
different,
la gangan, eso no,
Sí.
toda esa vaina de que Bloody, Crippy, toda esa vaina, todo esto, that
Sí.
doesn't start en Nueva York. Eso no
No.
comienza until
No, yeah.
1996. I was
Yeah.
there. That's how I know. That
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. You know what's-
toda esa vaina de que no, que la
Yeah.
vaina, que toda la
Nah,
vaina,
that makes
el
sense,
hierro
bro.
y todo. That's 9-6, bro. 9-6.
Yeah, you know why? Because I don't know. I think it's just weird though, because most of the shit, because I'm from the Cleveland area in Ohio, like most of the shit we got flows east, westward from y'all. You know what I mean? What motherfuckers is doing in Cleveland, Ohio, they do it in New York. Same. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah, but
one of
we
the
might have not
few
did
fucking
hand
things
signals,
I've
but
heard
we
of
said
that
jive
came
turkey.
That flew from the opposite direction was that stacking shit they used to do. The gangs.
I remember that.
I didn't know that. I thought y'all was doing it at the same time that we were over here.
Nah, we were saying jive turkey.
You know what I mean?
I know motherfuckers was gangstalicious earlier today. I'm like, oh, it's that time of year when it starts to get a little bit hot, the gangsters come out and they're gangstalicious. Gangstalicious. Like Fergalicious. Y'all heard that song? Fergalicious.
Yeah.
Gangstalicious is
Yeah, that fucking shit. Yeah.
Gangstalicious. I should do
Yo.
a rap like that.
Fuck it.
But yeah, I mean that was all that happened today. Nothing new in the boxing world. We know
So who the
David
fuck we
ain't
got
gonna
coming
fight
up?
them.
We got anything
No,
worth
we
watching this
got
weekend?
plenty of boxing this weekend. We got a top rank show. Bruce Carrington gonna be on it.
That's what's up.
Mayor gonna fight Sandy Ryan again. I'm gonna go live for that. But
Oh,
also
shit, I thought
that's
that
this
was
weekend.
tomorrow.
That's this weekend.
Oh,
and
shit,
Zepeda,
okay.
if
Oh, yeah.
you interested, I'm not really interested, but if you interested, Zepeda gonna fight Tevin Farmer again. That's also on
You're not
Saturday.
interested?
Yeah, it is.
My dude, why they fighting again?
I
You
mean,
beat him.
Hey, I don't give a
We
fuck.
already
I just
know
know it's
why,
gonna be a
bro.
good fight. Like fuck the reason. I don't
I'm
care.
good. I
No,
saw
it was-
that
it was a
already, bro.
They
contract.
just gonna fucking, hey man,
Hey,
you gotta do
Joseph,
something different, and it's
it
gonna
was
lead to
a
them banging
contract
that thing.
thing,
So
man.
I don't know, man. I'm lightweight.
I ain't
I'm
saying it's
I'm
not a
lightweight
con, bro. I'm
interested.
not
I'm
saying
lightweight
it's not a contract thing, but I don't need that. I don't need bro. I don't need to see you fight Tevin Farmer again. I want to see you fight somebody else. Go fight
mean-
Go fight Keyshawn Davis.
For a belt.
If
Cool.
it's free and I ain't got nothing going on, I'll watch.
I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna complain. Fuck that.
See, after all that shit, I'm going.
Zepeda has no
Watch it.
problem saying yes to all these non-title fights, but he doesn't say yes to any title fight that he's mandatory to.
He's
Yeah,
he gonna be like Bektemir Melakuziev. They just gonna keep putting him in fights that's not for a title. That's what they gonna do.
Look at Navarrete, right? Why is he fighting this fight?
Oh, I don't know.
Why?
And I love Navarrete, man. But it's like, what the fuck is a Charlie Suarez, bro? Like,
I
what
don't
even is
understand.
that? Hey, don't y'all got Oshaki Foster over there? Why don't y'all make that?
They even got a vacated belt there, the IBF.
Hey, back to Zepeda though, real quick, if I could. Like, what do y'all think the motivation is behind them not giving him the fights we want to see him in?
Honestly,
He'll
I think
lose.
that. No,
Him?
I don't.
No,
I
it's
don't
up
think-
to him.
I
See,
think
this-
it's.
that's. I mean, this is where it
No,
gets
no,
interesting. Go ahead.
it could be Fernando Beltran because Navarrete's real promoter is not Bob Arum. It's Fernando Beltran of Zanfer, and it could boil down to him. It could boil down that maybe he don't want that shit because that's his real promoter. He's more a Zanfer fighter than a Top Rank fighter. They just got a good relationship, Zanfer and Top Rank. So maybe it's Fernando that don't want that shit. But look, let's not get too deep because I'm the customer. I'm not hearing none of that. I couldn't get Oshaki Foster fight. Why not? Y'all literally signed Oshaki. Literally. He was literally at Navarrete's last fight. Why y'all have not made that? Why? Things to think about. I'm
They
going to
fucking
sleep,
up
y'all.
Navarrete's career, man. I think.
Nah, I think it's fucked already. I mean, like, no, de verdad, he's accomplished. He's been a champion at what? 3 weights, 22,
Today.
26, and 30, right?
Yep.
So it's not fucked up, but man, it could be so much better, bro.
But you fight a fight like this on your first title defense. This is not a fighter that you're fighting right now.
Bro, y ese tipo, el tipo, the dude he's fighting is in his mid-30s and never fought for a title before. What even is this, bro? What?
Hey, good talk, Jules. I'm out, man.
Gotta
Catch you later,
unify.
man.
I'm out of here, bro. I'll see y'all on the next one.
All right.